Well, the Easter season is upon us, and we're thinking of getting together with family and friends. And we came here to Cusumano because TJ always has something that will inspire us to cook for our families. What are we doing today?
So today, Jackie, we're doing a stuffed chicken breast, and we're going to stuff that with a mixture of artichoke and spinach stuffing. We're also going to do a nice side of potatoes au gratin and asparagus wrapped in prosciutto. So we're going to start with the stuffing. That's definitely the first step. So we're going to take some olive oil, and we're going to put it right in our pan, about 3 tablespoons. We're going to add our onions. We're going to add about 2.5 cups of onion. We're going to add 2.5 cups of celery, and we're going to add some salt, pepper, and some ground sage, which you could do for me right there. So it's been cooking for about 4 minutes now, and we're going to add some butter to it, about 1/4 cup of butter. So that's going to be about 3 of those pieces right there if you'd like to add those in, Jackie. Butter makes everything better,
yes, it
especially
does.
when it comes to stuffing. So while the butter melts, we're going to add our artichoke hearts. This is about 2 cups of artichoke heart. And we're going to also add some spinach to it, which we're going to chop up a little bit.
All right.
So this is just fresh spinach. We're going to run a knife through it. There's no special way to chop it. And we're just going to run the knife right through it, just to cut down some of these bigger leaves. So we're going to add the spinach, and we're going to fold all this together. So the butter is melting really nice.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. That sage is starting to like bring out the aroma. Sage and spinach and artichokes actually go very nicely together, which is something that I didn't really know until I tried it. Sometimes you have to just put some herbs together with different vegetables and give it a whirl.
See what happens.
You don't know what's going to work well until you try it.
Now, this is enough for what, a few
This is enough to make about 6 chicken breasts.
Okay.
When we add this to the bread, it's going to stretch quite a bit.
Okay.
All right, we're going to let that cook for another minute. We're going to add some chicken stock to it. This is our homemade chicken stock, but if you have chicken stock in your pantry, of course, that'll work just fine.
Right.
You're going to add about 1.5 cups to that.
Yeah.
That's going to eventually start to bubble, and it's going to cook down and reduce. And that's going to blend with the butter and all the flavors from the celery, onion. All right, Jackie, so this has come together really nice. So at this time, I'd like you to put those bread cubes right into that big mixing bowl.
Okay.
And we're gonna ladle this a little at a time over top while you fold them together. We're doing this because we don't want too much of this liquid to hit the bread cubes at one time. That'll make a sobbing wet mess on top, and it'll leave a lot of the bread cubes not well incorporated into the stuffing. And then to finish this, we're gonna add 2 last ingredients. This is some fresh parsley that you're gonna fold into here. And we're gonna also fold in about 1/2 cup of grated locatelli cheese. And this is going to bind it together, and that's perfect.
Beautiful.
Now we're going to stuff the chicken.
Okay.
So we have our chicken breasts here. We have 4 nice breasts that we got from our butcher. These breasts are kind of unique in the way that they're cut. They're skin on and boneless, as you can see. So there's no rib bones and there's no breastbone in the middle.
Okay.
So you can order this definitely from your butcher. You would tell them that you wanted a skin on, boneless, whole breast.
Okay.
So once you get it home, you're going to notice that the 2 sides of the chicken breast have a heavy, higher point here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to cut with the knife right into them and open them like a flap. And that'll give us more area to fold the chicken breast together.
Okay.
And it also cuts down on cooking time. So if you would, because you have nice clean hands, could you put a nice dollop of stuffing right in the center there?
Sure.
And I'll fold it all together. And that's a nice amount of stuffing in the middle. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fold in both sides right over each other, and we're going to get our fingers underneath it and fold it over top of itself. And using your hands like this, you're going to tighten up the bottom, and the skin will go right over top. So you don't have to tie
anything?
Nope, absolutely not. And that's stuffed chicken breast.
Nice.
We're going to put that right in the pan. We're going to get on with the rest of them. They're going to go in the oven. We're going to season them with some salt and pepper, and we'll put them in the oven.
It looks like it's right out of the oven, looking good.
It is. It's about halfway through the process, and it needs another 15 to 20 minutes, but the most important thing to do before that happens is make the glaze for the chicken. So in order to do that, we're going to take some honey from Beekeeper's Daughter. This is wildflower honey. We're going to put about a tablespoonful of honey in the bottom of this mixing bowl. We're going to blend it with some red wine vinegar. And this is not one of those things they have to measure too accurately.
Okay.
You know, it's something that we'd probably do 1/4 cup and 1/4 cup, and this is our dry sherry. And we're gonna mix this up and dissolve the honey with the vinegar and the sherry. And we're just gonna take it and pour it right over. And then that juice is gonna mix with the juice that naturally comes from the chicken and the stuffing, and it's gonna make this delicious sauce for the end.
When we come back, TJ creates some special side dishes to accompany our meal.
Now we're gonna make our potatoes au gratin. To do that, we're gonna start with a medium-sized saucepan like this on medium heat, and we're going to add to it about 4 tablespoons of butter. To that, we're gonna add our onions. We have nice chopped onions here. We're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of chopped onions. We're gonna cook those down for about a minute. While that's cooking, I'm gonna chop some chives and some thyme here, because chives, thyme, they just go excellent in the potatoes au gratin. And we have excellent Gruyere cheese here, so we have some already sliced, and we have some in a block that you're gonna slice.
Okay.
So we want some nice chunks in there too. So as these cook, we're gonna add our spices to it. About a teaspoon of salt. We have white pepper. It's totally different smell, flavor. It just lends itself to a white sauce very nicely. And then we're gonna add some nutmeg, and we have fresh nutmeg today. So you're gonna take 1 piece of nutmeg and your microplane, and you're just gonna lightly grate it until you see some going in the pan. Okay, so as this cooks a little more, we're gonna add our flour. We have about 2 tablespoons of flour we're gonna add. All right, so as this cooks, we're gonna stir it around. We don't want to brown the flour too much. We want to keep it nice pale golden color. And once the flour bubbles up, just like you see, we're going to add some milk to it.
Okay.
This is going to be about a full, I'd say, 1.5 cups here, and we're going to add it a little at a time, stirring constantly. And we want to see this sauce thicken slightly. We don't want it to be overly thick. We want it to have some thinness to it, because it is going to cook in the oven with the potatoes. And the potatoes are going to lend their starch to the sauce, which is going to really thicken it up into a creamy texture. So when this sauce is together at about this consistency, maybe a little thinner, we'll take a little milk in there and thin it out. We're going to shut the heat off, just like that. We're going to add our chives and our freshly chopped thyme to it. We're going to stir this around. So take this off the heat, and we're going to start layering into our pan and our potatoes. We're going to take them out of the water and start putting them in there. And as you do a layer of potato, you take your sauce and you're going to layer on the sauce right over top. And then your Gruyere cheese in between.
Nice.
And we're going to do another nice big layer of this.
Oh, wow.
And potatoes do shrink when you cook them, so you can go into a heap, like you could heap this pretty highly, and it'll settle down as it cooks. This is like one of those nice, rich French country dishes.
Yeah.
That growing up in an Italian family, we didn't eat too often, but once in a while for the holidays, especially like Easter, my grandmother would crack out her Julia Child cookbook.
I love it.
And she would, you know, make those French country rich dishes for after a long Lenten fast.
Right.
You know?
You're right. The tradition, exactly.
And that's how it's gonna look. And in the oven, it's gonna go.
Great.
All right, so Jackie, we're gonna make our final side dish, and that's gonna be prosciutto wrapped asparagus. So we're gonna take our asparagus, and we're gonna cut off the last 2 inches of the stem. You can see like it sometimes naturally breaks.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sit there and break every one. You could just take your knife and sort of estimate how much you want to cut off of all of them.
Okay.
Because you can cut through a few at a time. So we're gonna take our little example piece, put it next to them, measure it up, and just start cutting off. And I'm gonna put them in here, and we're gonna season them with salt and pepper and some grated locatelli cheese.
Nice.
And then we're gonna wrap them with the prosciutto di Parma, which this is an 18-month-old prosciutto. Comes from Italy, boneless ham that you would get at your deli. You wanna ask for something that's at least 12 months old. So we're gonna take our olive oil first. We're gonna go over this generously. We want it to be well coated. We're gonna take nice kosher salt, black pepper, and we're gonna mix it. And while I'm doing this, you're gonna take some of that locatelli cheese and grate it right over top of this.
Nice.
You like a lot on there.
All right.
So now we're gonna take a piece of prosciutto, lay it on the table, take about 4 spears, and we're gonna do a nice little roll, just like that. And the prosciutto is gonna tighten up around them as it cooks. We're gonna bake these at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, or until the asparagus is softened.
TJ, thank you so much for preparing this. Looks fantastic, and this is one of the things on the menu, right, for your Easter menu?
This is one of the items that we have available. We also have some other things like our pizza cana, which is a traditional Italian Easter pizza.
Nice.
Made with the ham and that special cheese. And we also have a whole roasted beef tenderloin, leg of lamb, and lots of other nice things. So you could order that by calling the restaurant, and you could find us online at CusumanoItalian.com or on Facebook.
And tell everyone where you're located.
432 South Main Street in Old Forge.
Great. TJ, thank you so much, and cheers and happy Easter.
Cheers, happy Easter.
Thanks, TJ.